let's talk about 4 ways, 4 amazing tips that will help you convert more on your webinars, on your online workshops, on your Zooms. If people are gathering to hear you teach and you'd like to invite them to continue working with you, you want to sell your programs, you want to sell your products, you want to fill up your services and have a wait list of people excited to talk to you, then you're not going to want to miss this, because you don't want to be salesy, you don't want to be pushy. Instead, let's focus on being more strategic and working smart. Hi, I'm Ilean Harris, an entrepreneur and Cuban American. When I started as an entrepreneur, I had little resources, so I quickly learned how to work smart. I experienced lots of headaches and setbacks when I started, but today, everything is different. I've got clients in over 20 countries, I've traveled the world, and I want to show you how to do the same. In this community, you will gain amazing training and inspiration to build a business of your dreams and a great lifestyle to go with it. Whether you're an entrepreneur with lots of ambition and experience, or you have just started your entrepreneurial journey, you've come to the right place. Remember, you can have it all. I absolutely love webinars. That's why there's a whole training section dedicated to them in the Momentum Business Academy, our flagship program. I absolutely love that I get to teach and help people whether they buy from me or not. So I am a webinar fan. I love hosting them. I love attending them. Yes, I might be nerding out, but the truth is that they're super helpful, and I get to add tons and tons of value whether someone bought from me or not, and leave them better than I found them. But as excited as I am to help tons of people, I truly need to help them with my business, because that's where really I have put all the bells and whistles. That's where all the tools and resources are collected. That's what has been designed to help someone step by step get the results that they desire, right? And so to invite them into it, of course I'm already excited. Of course my content is tailored to my ideal client, but there are a few other things that I always keep in mind. In fact, that I always check to make sure these things are in place before this webinar goes live, before it's automated, before it's shared with the world, because I want people to get great results, and I want them to be a part of our online community of students, of clients, of people who ultimately end up feeling like family all around the world. And you can do this too. I'm just like you. I started from scratch, and if I can learn it, so can you. The first thing you can do to help somebody go from student to customer, right, and help your webinars convert more, is to help them get a quick win. A lot of people avoid this amazing strategy because they're so caught up on, well, I shouldn't give away too much because then I'm giving away the whole program. What? I can talk to you for 20 hours a day and give you tons of tips, and it still wouldn't give away the whole program, because there's just so many amazing examples and stories and things I could share. So that to me is an example of confidence. Yes, you are an expert. Don't doubt yourself. You're not going to give away everything just by giving away one tip. And so if you aren't sure what a good win would be, then let's brainstorm. What are resources that you can share? What's a certain setting in a tool that people are already using that they didn't even know they can get better results from? Give people a taste of how much easier you can make their life. Give them a taste of what it's like working with you. And when in doubt, remember, your free content has the what and the why, and your paid content helps them with the how, unless you actually have a physical product, right? And even then, that product is going to help them get a result in a certain way when they have it. And so add tons of value and help people get a quick win. So if you're doing a webinar on branding, what's one engaging call to action you can teach them to have on that webinar? What is one thing they can take away from it and say, man, I learned this from such and such. I learned this from her. I wouldn't be here doing this had it not been for this person that taught me how to do this, right? Give them a quick win. Don't be shy about all the awesomeness that you share. Trust me, it is always good for business to be generous. It is always good for business, for your reputation, for your brand, and of course for people in general, when we're not living in fear of, oh my goodness, what if I help them too much? The next thing you want to do is be authentic and share your story. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. It's why I genuinely and openly share with people how I started from scratch, how I went from starting my business with the Wi-Fi at a Panera Bread or Starbucks, traded my textbooks on Amazon for store credit, leveraged that to getting business books, learning, growing, and so much more, to now having customers in over 20 countries. I can show them that I didn't just hear this at a seminar and I didn't just learn it through a business book. I practice what I preach. And trust me, in the beginning, I would sweat. I would say, oh my gosh, if my Cuban mother hears me being so vulnerable, she's gonna be so embarrassed, and what will the neighbors think? And guess what? I did it afraid. I did it uncomfortable. And then I saw that it was changing lives. And when I saw the good that was coming out of something that made me feel so bad and so uncomfortable, I never felt uncomfortable again. So I encourage you to be authentic and to be vulnerable, because people are smart. My ideal clients are smart. They can call BS on something. They can see right through you. Why? Because they know what it's like to be stressed, to be hurt, to have a problem, and they're looking for a solution. And if you don't look like a solution, you only look like one other thing, and that's a problem. All right, so look like a solution, help people, and be yourself. It is so much easier and so much more valuable to be the original than to try and be the perfect copy of something else. The next thing that I find super helpful is to have a framework or blueprint or some sort of system that I'm sharing. You know, you don't have to share everything you know on a webinar. You have to relate it to the specific topic of that class, of that online workshop. And so if you are kind of all over the place, your clients or your customers, your potential customers so far, they might participate on your event and they might be like, oh, this isn't for me. I'm not getting it. I don't feel like this is something I would click with. I think that, you know, I wouldn't succeed at this program. And they would think you're awesome. They would think you're so smart that you know all the things. But if they don't feel confident that they can truly win with you, then that sucks, because honestly, it was probably all a really big misunderstanding just of how the information was laid out. So when I started my business, I used to do the grandma test. Could I explain this to my grandmother, who is not techie, who is not a law in my industry? Could I explain to her how this works? Would this at least seemingly make sense to her? And so much more. So one of the ways that I got through this is that every single time when one of my webinars was over, I would sit there and take down and look at every single comment, every single question. And anytime I get a question 2 or 3 times, then to me, I'm like, if these people are wondering this, that means there is a gap in my presentation. So I do the webinar again, and this time I would emphasize a little bit more and answer their question in advance until suddenly there weren't any flaws in the logic. Because you know what? We are knee deep into our expertise, into our niche, and we think so much of what we do is common sense, okay? And it's not to other people. And it doesn't mean that we're not willing to help them. And so make sure that you make your communication so seamless and so easy to understand, so that everyone knows that by working with you, they will be supported, they're confident, they're not confused, and they're in the right place at the right time. To wrap up, let me remind you that facts tell and stories sell. And as much as I love to share my story, I also love to share case studies. If you don't have a lot of client case studies like I do, and I love to share with people what's worked where, or sometimes your clients are like, no girl, I don't want you sharing my story, right? Let's keep that a little private. Then you can give examples that you have seen in the news. You can give examples that you have seen in other places. And so a lot of people that teach on marketing give a lot of examples, for instance, from political campaigns, or, you know, if you teach about influencers, there's tons of influencer data out there, or videos you can reference to, or things like that. And so it not only explains things in a very simple way, but it comes alive with examples. This allows people to understand that, wow, this person that they're giving me an example of is someone I can relate to. This is someone that I can truly help. So for instance, I've got a dog, a bird, a husband. I don't have any kids yet. And so I love sharing testimonials from my clients that are moms and busy moms and traveling moms and all of that. Because I'd hate for somebody to not want to work with me because they might say, well, you know, I'm not sure that I have the time to accomplish X, Y, and Z. It's 1,000% valid. They have real life implications and real things that will be added to their schedule when we work together. And so what's really cool is just by sharing positivity and great results, I can communicate to someone, hey, you don't have to worry about that. This is here to help you win. And so this is really cool because I'm definitely not going to be that person that's going to be there screaming on a webinar, drop your excuses, hustle 24/7, or you'll never win. That's not my style. That's not how I am. And, I did mention earlier, be authentic. So in light of being authentic, yeah, there is some practicality to what, some of these marketers sometimes are yelling everywhere. And I prefer not to yell at everyone and instead show some case studies and talk it through with people and give them some great examples. And whether they had that objection or not, it was another excellent teaching moment, another opportunity to add a ton of value in a lot of different ways that I can help people. So I'm really excited to have you guys implement all of this. Let me know how your webinars went. And of course, if you're interested in being part of our flagship program, the Momentum Business Academy, I'm going to have it linked right below because this is where I 100% show you how to host webinars. I show you the theory part, the execution part, the tech part, and of course the follow-up part, because the webinar is just the beginning of the party. You definitely want to follow up with an amazing email marketing campaign. And so until next time, keep crushing it, and remember, you can have it all and you can have it now.